What's up, y'all? We are getting started. I'm going to be answering different questions that people have about the tech industry, the tech space, the IT space, all the different names for it. So I already have a list of questions already, but I'm going to dedicate tonight to really just answering everyone's questions. So before we get started, I just want to kind of lay a few things out. So make sure that when you're asking your questions that you're putting them down in the question box down below. That way I'm not missing any of them if I find myself having trouble keeping up with the comment section. Now, it's a few different things. Recently I started promoting a new tech bootcamp. It's not a new tech bootcamp, but I started newly promoting a tech bootcamp called Course Careers. It's different from Careers. It's different from the tech bootcamp that I did. But recently I found out a couple people were doing Course Careers, and this tech bootcamp has such a ridiculously incredible deal. I was like, yo, I have to do more research on it and see how thorough they are. And the deal is so crazy, but I got them locked in to offer people even a bigger discount through them. So just explaining a little bit about Course Careers, and I'm just kind of talking about this tech bootcamp, and then we'll get to the questions that people sent in. But explaining a little bit about Course Careers, they are a tech bootcamp that only cost $499, which is crazy dirt cheap. The tech bootcamp I did cost me $3,500. So from $3,500 to $499, that's a huge difference. Now, the difference between them and Careers is that they only teach tech sales. But the dope part is that not only do they only cost $499, also after you finish the boot camp portion of their course, once you do an internship with them, you actually get paid $15 an hour while in their internship. So basically, you end up getting paid back more money from them than you actually paid them to do the program. Now, the reason why they're able to do this is because most of their money doesn't come from people doing their boot camp, because $499 is not a lot of money for a boot camp program. Really, they make their money because they're partnered with schools, or not schools, they're partnered with different tech companies. So basically, they operate like a recruitment agency. So on one end, they're a boot camp, but on the other end, they help get their students or their graduates, they help get them tech jobs. So it's different tech companies that pay them to find talent to get hired at their companies. So they're a recruitment agency. So that's why they're so ridiculously cheap. I'll actually share this piece that's from their page. Hopefully this shares properly. Okay, yeah. So this is Course Careers. So it says their technology sales course is very affordable. A flat rate of $499 or 4 payments of $150. There are no contracts or hidden fees. The reason why they're able to keep their course so affordable is because companies pay them to hire students. It's hard to read the rest, but it says companies pay them to hire. Let me read it off of my monitor. Companies pay them to hire their students, thus subsidizing your education. So listen, y'all, this is a crazy big deal, crazy huge deal. But also, if you use the link in my bio and go to them, they are also giving an additional $50 discount if you use my promo code, which is Cyrus50. But click the link in my bio, go to Course Careers. That's a crazy deal. As always, I get a referral fee or referral kickback from anybody who does a tech bootcamp. But honestly, I'm going to tell y'all straight up, their referral fee or kickback is much less than most other tech bootcamps. But the reason why I'm still promoting them is because this deal is so good. But again, this is for those who want to do tech sales. So I don't get a huge referral kickback from this, but their deal is so ridiculous. I was like, yo, I don't even care about that. I got to tell people about this. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to answer all the questions. We're also going to talk about if anyone has any questions about the difference between Course Careers and Careerists. Again, on a high level, the difference is that Course Careers only does tech sales, which means that your first year, you might end up making really about $70,000, $80,000 your first year as a tech salesperson. But after your second year and so on and so forth, you'll definitely easily make it to six figures, at least within a couple years, depending on, of course, how you're working and how you're networking in the tech space. Whereas Careerists, they have other tech programs like sales engineering, cybersecurity, solutions architect, manual QA. those are tech careers where you will hit six figures a lot faster. But of course, with careers, they cost more on the front end. They do have a deferred payment, but either way, it's either $499 with Course Careers or about $3,500 with Careerist. Either way, if you want a discount to either program, click the link in my bio and take advantage of those discounts that I have. So trying to put people along, because it's a lot of money up in here when it comes to tech. God's been blessing me in a major way. So with that, I'm like, it'll be crazy for me to not give back to people, especially because there is like a referral fee involved with that as well. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into these questions that people sent in. So hopefully I can click on some of these and share them. I did not mean to have my badges on. So thank you for those who just purchased some badges. I'm not requiring people to purchase badges, but if you're being blessed by the information that I'm sharing, if you like the information I'm sharing, feel free to get a badge, but don't feel pressured to get a badge. Usually I say I don't answer any questions unless people send badges in, but tonight's live. My guest wasn't able to make it tonight. So because of that, I want to honor everybody by just giving just free game right now for everyone. So let's go ahead and get to the questions that people sent in. Choose different asset. All right. So question number one, someone asked what to do if you have some coding skill. So this is someone asking question, hey, if they have some ability to code or to develop or to write code already, what should you do? Well, first off, we would have to define what you mean by some coding skill. So what does that mean exactly? That's pretty relative. But let's assume you have some coding skill to where maybe it's decent enough for a company to hire you and train you up some more. So what you should do is you should prove your coding skill by taking some tests. Sometimes companies have tests on their website where you can take tests. You can go to LinkedIn. You can get certifications. So if you have some coding skill, prove it by doing different online tests on platforms like Udemy, LinkedIn. I know Google has certain tests. You can go to Google's website, not the Google search, but Google as an actual company. You can go to their site and you can actually type in like a coding test to prove your knowledge. And then after you pass those tests, you'll get certifications or they'll rank you with a certain knowledge base. And then you can post those things on platforms like LinkedIn, on other different platforms where companies are looking for developers. So that's what I would say do. Now, if you really don't have that much of coding skill, I would say that really you would need to make it more robust by checking out a program like Flatiron School, which they're a deferred payment tech program as well, where they would teach you how to code, and it costs nothing until you get a job with them. Another heads up, I don't have a discount for Flatiron right now, but I reached out to them recently to see if they're willing to give a discount to my followers, and they actually emailed me back earlier today confirming that they will give a discount, but I haven't emailed them back yet. So I currently don't have a discount. So if you want to check them out by yourself, go ahead. I don't know what the discount that they would offer my followers. It might be big, it might be small. Either way, you can check out Flatiron if you're interested in coding. They have a great program, as well as Udemy, Code Academy. And now I'm just listing different tech boot camps that teach coding that can make your coding more robust, and they'll help you get a job as a developer or as a coder. But that's just some quick free game. I don't have any discounts for those tech programs, but those are good tech boot camps as well that specialize in coding. So leaving from this question, we're going to move on to the next question. So the next question, if you want to do tech on the side with a 40-hour week job already. So a lot of people have sent in a similar question asking, hey, I want to work a job, but I also want to do tech on the side. I don't believe it's possible, but it's not probable. It's highly improbable to be able to do this. First off, I would want to know why someone would want to do this. Y'all can let me know down in the comments. If any of you resonate with this question, I guess, why would you want to do tech and have a 40-hour work week job? Because I'm going to be real, tech pays so well. It's rare that you will ever have a job that's paying you more than tech. You would have to be maybe like some kind of like doctor, a lawyer, and not even just any lawyer. You'd have to be like a specific lawyer where you're making a chunk of money. Tech careers are not careers you really do on the side, because again, you make so much money, it almost defeats the purpose of having a full-time job. Tech usually is the full-time job. So yeah, you can do that, but again, it's highly unlikely. Usually you would have to base it on where you live. So if you live in the US, if you're going to do tech on the side, a tech job on the side, you most likely would have to work at a company that might not be based in the US, and therefore you would have to work odd hours to work at that company. Or if your 40-hour-a-week job is based, your hours are based overnight, you're working overnight, then yeah, you could do tech during the day. But unless someone, the only way I would suggest doing tech on the side is if you have like a business, you're an entrepreneur, and maybe your entrepreneurship thing, you're working that 40, 50 hours a week, and then you're doing tech during the day, during your 9 to 5, but you're an entrepreneur overnight. That would make sense. But don't, and I say this to everyone, like, it's not wise to come into tech thinking, oh, you're just gonna treat it like it's a side thing. Tech is not a side thing. It's it takes a lot of mental capacity in order to do these jobs. The jobs are incredibly rewarding, from the salary to the benefits, the different perks and things they give you. But at the same time, the jobs are so rewarding because they take a lot out of you. And so again, I love being in tech, but it's not like easy peasy type of work. Thank you for the question though. So on to the next question. Part-time opportunities in tech. I'm sorry, y'all. 1 second. I gotta grab some water. My bad. I had to blow my nose. I had to get some water. Shouts out to my company. Anyway, part-time opportunities in tech. So there are part-time opportunities in tech, but most of them are mitigated to coding roles or being a developer. But usually what will happen is that you can find companies that are looking to hire a developer to do a job or a task that doesn't require a 9 to 5 schedule. Because when you're a coder or a developer, companies give a task to you of something they need you to create. And you can create that whenever you want to create it, as long as you have it finished by a certain deadline that they give you. So those are part-time opportunities where you can do those any time of the day. But most roles in tech, aside from being a developer, most roles in tech do require a more structured schedule where you're at the mercy of the schedule that company's giving you. Now, even my job, I have a lot of fluidity. There are certain tasks that my job has for me that I could literally be doing right now. But then there are certain tasks that have to happen between the hours of like 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. So I'm able to pick and choose. There are certain things I can do during random hours of the day, and then there's other stuff that I have to do during those specific delegated hours. But if you're going to do something like being a developer, you can find you can do freelance work as a developer in tech, and those pay a lot of money. I told a story before about one of my homeboys. He makes about $250,000 a year as a developer, and he's young. He's about my age. And he doesn't work for any company, but he takes freelance jobs. Like, he'll find freelance jobs to develop something for a company, and the company will say like, okay, we need to find a developer that can make something for us, and the job has to be done in 3 months, and the companies will say like they're paying $50,000. He'll find like 3 different jobs like that, and he'll do all of them, but he doesn't do it all himself. He'll actually hire new developers or coders part-time, and he'll pay them out like $10,000, $20,000 to knock out that job for him. And he'll just check on the work that they're doing. So that way he has passive income. He makes about $100,000 every 3 months, and the other $100,000 he'll give to the coders that he's handed the job over to, but the company pays him. So if someone knows how to code, saying that if anyone knows how to code and you're trying to find work, hit me up and let me know if you want to do odd jobs with being a coder or a developer. I have friends like him who would probably hire you on to be a part of his team, and y'all can do a bunch of odd jobs together, but you'll get paid stupid money. But just hit me up on the back end about that. All right, so next question. So I'm going through a list of questions that are already sent in. I only have a couple more of these left, then I'm going to jump down in the question box down below. All right, cool. So someone asked, was my first job that Careers got me a six-figure base salary? If not, what was the base salary? So I am a sales engineer. Sales engineers, like many other careers in tech, are base plus commission. Now, I am not, even though my name is a sales engineer, or my title is a sales engineer, even though I'm paid base and commission, I don't sell anything. Like, it's called a sales engineer because I just help with the sales process. But by helping with the sales process, my only job, I hop on a call with a customer. The sales rep is on a call, and they're the tech salesperson. They set up the call. I jump on the call. It's my first time meeting the customer. All my job is to show them the product, but it's a technical product. It's a software. So imagine you explaining Instagram to someone who's never used Instagram. Like, imagine you going through all of Instagram, breaking down everything someone can do on Instagram that they can't do on Facebook, and you showing that to them. That's kind of what I do. I demonstrate a software product to someone, to companies that are in the market for that product. And so, that being said, I don't even think about my commission because I always get my commission. It's not even when I did the tech bootcamp, one of the things the instructors told us at Careerist was that they said you always get your commission. You know, most of them have been sales engineers for 20 plus years, 10 plus years. And they said they've never worked at a company, even a whack company, where you didn't get your commission. Because as a sales engineer, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this for it to make sense. You're not doing business to customer sales. And I'm going to be real. I don't want this to sound insulting to anyone because this also was me before last summer. All the sales jobs I did up until I became a sales engineer were business to customer or business to consumer or B2C sales. B2C sales is significantly harder than B2B sales because B2C sales, you're dealing with a customer that doesn't really need what you're offering. You're trying to convince a customer that they need your product. Versus a B2B, when you're doing sales to a business is only talking to you because they need your product or service. They actually have a budget set aside and they're looking across the market to find someone like your company that can give them the service they need. It's the difference between me selling you a water bottle that you don't need because you already have a cup. You already have glasses at your home. Maybe you already have a water bottle. So it's one thing me selling a customer a water bottle. It's an entirely other thing me selling a truck company a truck, and they need trucks. It's a done deal. A truck company needs trucks. All my job is to show them that our truck is legit and our truck won't break down on them. So that's kind of a little quick example of I'm knocking my mic down. I'm tripping. That's kind of an example of business to business sales. And that's why commission, you always make commission. Again, I don't even think about getting my commission. And I always get commission. So, for example, when I got hired, Careers did help me get my first job at the company that I work at, Dialpad. Great company. And my starting salary with Dialpad is $90,000 OTE, or that means on target earnings. So what does that mean exactly? My base salary was $72,000 when they first hired me on. That was my base salary. So that means my commission was $18,000 and every second check the commission would be on there. But again, that's on target earnings. My commission is more, like, if even when I started, my commission was more than what it was supposed to be, because on target earnings is literally like, yo, if the company just meets its bottom line metrics, this is the bare minimum you get. So it sounds a bit confusing, but yeah, my base salary was technically $72,000, but I was making $90,000 without really trying, just doing my job. That's what I was making when I started at my company. So I tell people, I say all the time, oh, I got started with a six-figure salary. Technically, I got started with $90,000, which we're going to be specific. That's $10,000 less than six figures. But it's like, 11 eggs a dozen. It's like it's not a huge difference, because even one of the other guys that did the tech bootcamp that I did, who was a guest that I've had on here before on my live, he actually got started with a six-figure salary. And even now, he makes about $15,000 more than what I currently make, just as a sales engineer. He's also a sales engineer, and Careerist helped him get his job as a sales engineer. He works at HubSpot, and I work at Dialpad. So yeah, I hope I answered that question properly. Hope I didn't make that too confusing. But basically, I did start off at a $90,000 on target earnings, but my base salary was $72,000. But again, I was getting $90,000 if we're calculating like per month. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next question. Y'all let me know if I'm making sense or if y'all getting confused at all. Let me look at the comment section real quick. Thank y'all for those who are getting badges. Again, I deeply appreciate it. Don't feel pressure to get any badges, but I do appreciate it. All right, so I see some questions here in the chat. I'm gonna address a couple of the questions in the chat. Then I'm gonna go back to focusing on questions that are being put down in the question box down below. So Ambiana asks, do you think it's reasonable to start with this program and then consider going through with other programs at a later time? So I don't know when you ask this question. So when you say start with this program, I'm assuming you're saying start with Course Careers, the tech bootcamp that I was just talking about. I would say, if you're talking about the tech bootcamp, Course Careers, I wouldn't think that you would need to go to any other tech bootcamp. So I don't think that anyone should jump and do different tech bootcamps. It doesn't really make any sense. Like, just do a solid tech bootcamp, whether Course Careers or Careers, both are very solid. To me, it's all about how much money you have up front. So if you don't have a lot of money to pay, like to do a tech bootcamp, and you're a little hesitant, do Course Careers, because again, it's only $499, and that's all you pay. Like, that's it. And then after that, once you finish their tech bootcamp or their program, they pay you while you're in an internship, while they're helping you find a job. They're paying you $15 an hour while you're trying to find a job. So they literally end up paying you back more money than what you paid them. Again, for anybody who's just now hopping on, the reason why they're able to do that is because, and I'm reading this off of their website now, the reason why they're able to keep their course so affordable is because companies pay them to hire their students. So they're a recruitment agency for companies. They're like not a temp agency, but like a job hiring agency. So they train you in tech sales, and then they're connected with a lot of companies that are constantly paying them to hire their students to work at their companies. So if you don't have a lot of money up front, or you're hesitant about tech boot camps and you're not sure, you don't want to pay Careerists that $3,500 or whatever it is, if you use my discount, you don't want to do that because that's too risky for you, then do Course Careers. Now, again, with tech sales, your first year in tech sales, you're not going to get a six-figure salary your first year in tech sales. Your salary, your salary will land somewhere between about $65,000 to $80,000, which is still really, really good money. That's your first year. But if you want to make sure by your first year or second year in tech you're making six figures, then I would suggest doing something else, whether it's manual QA, whether it's being a sales engineer like myself, a solutions architect, cybersecurity. And that way, if you're going to go that route, I would suggest Careerists. Now, Careerists cost more upfront. They do have a deferred payment, but even after their deferred payment, it still comes out to being like $5,000 and some change. So again, It's not a lot of money if you're comparing it to college, which most college degrees do not get you a six-figure career, and colleges do not help you get a job. Nevertheless, it all depends on you. So course careers, if you just like, you hesitant about tech, in terms of like you're hesitant about the tech, like basically if you don't trust this, I know some people are afraid because it sounds too good to be true. And I completely get it. So if you're that kind of person, do a tech boot camp like Course Careers, where the barrier to entry is so low and you get paid while you're in the program. But if you're like, nah, I'm trying to get them big racks ASAP, then do a program like Careers instead. Both of them will help you get a job in tech. But if you do one of the other careers programs outside of tech sales, you have a higher probability of getting a job. And also keep in mind, both programs pay you back if they don't get you a job in tech. So they pay you back entirely if they don't get you a job in tech. So, and that's a part of their contractual agreement. So there's no sweat off your back either way. But those are kind of the different options. But I wouldn't suggest doing one tech boot camp and then jumping and doing another program. That just doesn't make any sense to me, because you're only going to slow down your process of getting hired and getting a job in tech. Again, for those who don't know, I did it was 4 weeks. It was from July. The tech bootcamp I did ended in the first couple of days in August. It was a 4-week program, 5 days a week. Only took 2 hours, about 2.5 hours for each of those days, 5 days a week. And it only took me 8 more weeks before I got hired at a company at $90,000 starting. So again, like you have to put in the work, but you don't have to don't plan on doing weird stuff like trying to jump tech boot camps. It's like you're making it extra hard when it's simple. Like it's simple. It's hard work, but it's a very simple process that's like fail proof, with being able to be refunded if they can't get you a job in tech, because they promise to get you a job in tech. They guarantee it for you. Anyway, kind of rambled on that point a little bit too long. Go ahead and answer another question. So someone asked, what does a sales engineer do? Do I need sales tech experience to land a role like you? I mentioned earlier, so what a sales engineer does, I'm a technical demonstrator. I demonstrate software. So imagine you all, so for instance, I'm trying to think of an example that will make sense for everybody here. So for instance, okay, so let's say before TikTok came out, and before Instagram Reels, let's say I was gonna demonstrate to you all TikTok, and I'm explaining. Let's say you're a business and you're in the market for a product like TikTok. This is a weird example because a business wouldn't be in the market for a product like TikTok. Users or consumers are in the market for something like TikTok. But just roll with me. Let's say each of you are a business. You've been using Instagram. Instagram has helped your business, but the issue is that you want to find a way to give bite-sized entertainment content that involves filters, involves word tech, basically everything that TikTok did or does that Instagram didn't do before Instagram came out with Reels. So you're in the market for something like that, but you don't even know what it looks like. But you're just trying to make your social media like entertainment more enjoyable. A sales rep that I work with would contact you, would see that you're in the market for that, would set up a video call, or it will be an in-person, but my company is virtual, so I do a virtual call from where I'm sitting right here, and I have my microphone out and I have it connected to my laptop, and I talk to a customer and I share my screen and I show them. In this example, I'm showing you TikTok. And I'm showing you, and of course I'm using certain language. So I'll say, pretend like your name is Sally. I'll say, hey Sally. So today I'm going to be showing you TikTok. I'm fully aware that right now you've been using Instagram, and so far your team has been getting very bored with Instagram. You've exhausted all of the entertainment from it, and now you're in the market for something different because you want to leverage whatever. You want to leverage your entertainment. With companies, it's more about the money, but you want to leverage your money that you want to make. I'm going to show you how TikTok can actually make that happen. I share my screen. I explain everything in TikTok. I click on all the buttons within TikTok. I show them how to make a TikTok video. I scroll through the TikTok feed and show them how funny TikTok is and how fun it is. And again, no one would do this with TikTok. I'm just giving an example, but usually this will be with a software or a product. So literally my job is to just show someone. Imagine you're showing someone TikTok for the first time, and that's what you get paid to do. That's essentially what I do. I show a software to a company that's in the market for that software. It's no pressure on me whether or not they buy the software. None at all. I'm just showing them the software. And throughout showing them the software, they will ask me technical questions. They'll say things like, okay, I like this, but all right, I see that TikTok, I see that Instagram just came out with their reels. Their reels are 1 minute long. How long are TikTok videos? And then I can show you, oh, cool. Well, my technical answer will be, well, TikTok actually has 3-minute videos. So Instagram only gives you 1 minute videos, but TikTok does 3 minutes. So I show the customer how TikTok is better, how it's better for their business. Instead of them being limited to 1 minute, you could do 3 minutes. So again, I answer questions about the software, and I'll answer technical questions. They might ask some nerdy question. Now that's when it gets really hard. They'll ask things like, okay, what bandwidth does TikTok run on? Does TikTok work on Android or just iPhones? Can you download the app on Android or just iPhones? Okay, does it work without Wi-Fi? Like, I'm just making up random questions, but customers will ask technical questions that it's my job as a sales engineer to not just show them the product, but answer those more technical questions. They might have an IT person on their team on the call, and I have to basically get nerdy with them and answer some of those more technical questions. But guess what? Every single day I get questions I don't know the answer to. And I just say, oh, I don't know the answer to that. Simply put. And I'll say, we'll check on that and get that answer back to you. And the customers really don't care that much as long as they're confident about everything else I show them. But let me not keep going as I'm going to get too deep. But basically, I just demonstrate a product and I answer technical questions about the product for the customer. And when they buy the product, they'll spend something like $50,000, $70,000 for their business to get that product. And I make a commission off of that. But whether or not they buy the product, I still get paid very well. So I'm not tripping or stressing if they buy products from my company. All right, so I think that was the last question that people sent in earlier. So now I'm going to pivot and focus on questions that people are asking in the question box. So, what to do if you can already code? I answered that already. Part-time opportunities in tech, I answered that. Oh yeah, okay. So someone asked, this is another question. I actually forgot to share this one earlier. Whoop, wrong question. Wrong question again. Yes. All right, so someone says, are there companies rumored to be hiring in tech without a degree such as IBM? I'm not sure about IBM. I'm assuming they are, but probably not IBM because IBM is a legacy company. Basically, they're an older company that still has a lot of traditional ways about them. That's part, like IBM is ridiculously successful, but IBM is very traditional. So they're one of the more traditional tech companies where they don't like to hire people that don't have a degree. And that's why IBM is not as successful as companies like Google, like Microsoft, like Apple, and many of these other tech companies that are more inventive and creative, and they understand the market today. They understand someone doesn't need a degree. So using your question, let's say you're talking about a company like Google. Yes, Google hires a lot of people that do not have degrees. Google actually has their own program. If you want to do Google's, they have like a version of a tech course on Google. And if you finish that tech course, you can get hired at Google. Same thing with a company like Salesforce, which a lot of people generally don't talk about it, but I'm sure a lot of us, our companies have used Salesforce. They're a multi-billion dollar company. I think they're worth like $200 billion or something astronomical. They might be worth even more than that. But even Salesforce, companies will hire you if you have no degree. Now, will these companies hire you if you don't have If you don't have like multiple certifications that apply to the job you're hiring for, no. Are they going to hire you if you don't have any tech bootcamp experience that's specific to that role? No. These companies are not going to hire you just off of your word that you work really hard. Because if you're talking about some of these, especially these bigger companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, those companies, if I apply, even as a sales engineer, if I apply to Apple, to Google right now, I most likely wouldn't get the role. I might get the job, but I probably wouldn't get the job. The reason why, you're talking, those aren't just tech companies. Those are the creme de la creme of the creme de la creme of tech companies. Those kind of tech companies don't pay salaries under like $180,000, $200,000. Those companies are so elite. Everyone gets paid like they're rich. Like everyone that works at, like if you see people that work at Google, they're rich. Like they might not be millionaire rich, but they're rich. Like they're making dumb money. Like they could pay you your salary and still have six figures to live off of themselves. They could pay you whatever you get paid and still be making stupid money driving around in a Tesla. So those bigger tech companies that I just mentioned, they're called FANG. Facebook, Amazon, what's the other A? Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So they're called FANG is the acronym. Any FANG company, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, don't even look their way. Don't even think about applying for them if you don't have some significant something going on. But even most tech companies are not going to hire you. Now, there are some tech companies, I'm going to tell y'all straight up, companies have hit me up trying to snatch me from my company, and they've offered like $60,000, $70,000, and I'll be like, what? Like, bro, why am I even on the phone with y'all? And I actually told a dude one time, he was like, yeah, the starting salary for this sales engineer role is, I think he said $60,000 or $65,000. And I literally said to the interviewer, I was like, what? I was like, that's way below market. I was like, how can y'all even try to offer people that low money? And he started laughing, like the nervous laugh. He was like, yeah, I know that is a little low. And I was like, yeah, nah, dude. I was like, that's way below what I'm getting paid. And then I told him, I said, I don't think y'all are going to be able to hire too many people. But then his response back to me is that they're actually open to hiring people that don't have any sales engineering experience. So meaning that kind of company would probably hire someone who doesn't have any technical sales engineering experience. And they would train that person up. So yeah, there are companies that'll hire you without any experience at all. But on one, those companies are crazy rare, and two, don't be looking to have the starting salary of $90,000 like my starting salary was. That's without question. You ain't about to get that, like straight up. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, and I say this gracefully. These tech boot camps are a cheat code already, or even certifications are a cheat code. I don't talk a lot about certifications because that's a real. I'll answer questions if y'all have questions about certifications, but I don't talk too much about certifications because that's real loosey-goosey. That doesn't help you out as well as tech boot camps do. But understand, certifications or tech boot camps, these are cheat codes to give you six-figure salaries. These are cheat codes that white people are taking advantage of. That's why the tech space is littered with white folk, especially white men. They're making these crazy six-figure salaries, just making buku money. Tech boot camps are a cheat code. If you're trying to find a cheat code apart from tech boot camps, I'm just gonna go out and say, like you're not even fit for tech, because and I say that gracefully. And again, this is a generalization, but I would say if you're trying to find a cheat code around a cheat code like tech boot camps or getting certifications, it's like, yo, there's never been an opportunity, a barrier entry so low. If you're trying to cut corners even more, I don't think your work ethic is good enough to really be in tech, because these jobs are not jobs where you can try to find the laziest way to get in and then think you're going to keep the job, because these jobs, you're not going to be lazy and do these jobs. These jobs really do require a lot of mental capacity. It requires you to be very, I forget what the word is, you to be a self-starter. Like, they're not gonna baby you. They're not gonna like hold your hand. They're gonna expect that you're a hard worker. You're a competent, smart person. That's why they're paying you all this money they pay you. So if you can even make it through the interview process without any certifications or any tech bootcamp experience, if you even make it through the process and get hired, you're going to have to perform on a level that you probably never performed mentally at any company you've worked at before. And I'm just telling you that straight up. So anyway, let me get off beating this dead horse. Yeah, so I think I answered that question and then some. All right, let's go to some of the other questions that are sent in. All right, so I'm gonna screenshot these questions that just popped in, because for some goofy reason, Instagram is not letting me share these questions. So I'm gonna screenshot them. All right, cool. So I'm gonna answer all of these. So someone said best way to get tech jobs. Let me look at the questions, because my little profile joint is hiding it. Yeah, so best way to get into tech jobs without a degree. So the best ways to get a tech job without a degree. Without a degree, there are two different routes you can go. You can either get certifications, but there are literally thousands of certifications you can get. But some of them are free. Some of them are free. No, actually, there are three ways to get in tech. My bad. So I'm gonna tell you the cheapest and easiest way. The cheapest and easiest way to get into tech, but it's gonna require more work on your end when it comes to interviewing, applying, the way you perform in those interviews, all of that. So there are free online courses that train you on how to code. There are free ones. I'm going to start sharing them sometime soon. So if you're interested in being a coder or developer, there are free courses that can teach you how to code and how to develop. And you will be able to code and develop. Now, will those programs help you get a job in tech? No. It'll give you the certifications. It'll say you have qualifications, but it won't get you a job in tech. You will have to apply at companies yourself. You will have to interview yourself. You will have to know how to fix up your resume yourself, all of that. But again, that's the free route. It's the lowest barrier to try to get in tech. But with the actual interviewing, applying, resume portion, all of that will be a lot harder. But that's a free way you can do it. Another route is getting certifications yourself. So you can get a plethora of certifications. Maybe you can look at certain roles, like maybe being a sales engineer, and you can look at certifications in Kubernetes, certifications in being a Salesforce administrator, since Salesforce is super popular. You can look up a whole bunch of certifications you can get and buy those certifications yourself. You might be able to get away with buying certifications that only end up spending about $1,000. But again, you won't have assistance with applying to companies, with fixing up your resume. You won't have referrals. You won't have any of those things. That's why the third route I'm going to mention is the route that I spend a lot of time promoting, are tech boot camps. Because tech boot camps still give you the certifications, they usually cost a little bit more, except for a program like Course Careers. But tech boot camps usually cost a little bit more. But they help you with your resume. They fix up your resume to look the way that tech recruiters are looking for when it comes to resumes. They also help you with applying to companies. Certain tech boot camps, like the ones I recommend, they apply to companies for you. and they send out your resumes to different recruiters and different companies that you wouldn't even think to. And they set up interviews for you. So you interview. Like Course Careers, literally they set up interviews for you where they'll schedule interviews for you with different tech companies. And also these tech boot camps train you on how to interview. So they don't just teach you the job, they also coach you on how to interview in these roles. And when I say coach you, I mean they literally give you the playbook, the questions you're going to be asked in these interviews. And tech interviews are different than normal interviews. They don't ask you the boring cliche questions like, okay, well, how do you see yourself operating in this role? So, okay, well, tell us about your last company. Like they'll ask like legit questions, but these tech boot camps coach you on how to answer those questions. So to me, I believe the best route to go would either be getting specific certifications or doing a tech boot camp. Yeah, so I hope that answers the question. So next question on here, what's the difference between tech sales and sales engineers? So tech sales there are a list of jobs in tech sales. There's not just one job. In tech sales, you could be a business development rep. You could be an account manager. You can be, there are a bunch of, tech sales is an umbrella of roles. Basically a bunch of different roles in tech fall under tech sales. Just like a bunch of different roles in tech fall under being a developer. You could be a front-end developer, back-end developer, full-stack developer. It's a lot of different things. So when we talk about the difference between tech sales have more of a hands-on approach when it comes to the sales process. So a tech salesperson, so example, 9 times out of 10, my only time ever talking to a customer as a sales engineer is when I demo the product. 9 times out of 10, that's my first and last time ever seeing the customer. I spent about 1 hour on a video call with them, and I'm off the call, and I don't even think about them again until I see that we close the deal, and then I get like some money from that. And I'm like, oh, whoop-de-doo, cool, dope, whatever. Now, someone who's in tech sales, depending on what they're doing in tech sales, they have a longer process in the sales process or sales cycle with the customer. So again, my time with a customer might be one video meeting. Someone who's in tech sales, they might have 2 or 3 video meetings with that customer. But when the deal closes, they get paid a lot more than I actually get paid. So their base pay is a lot less than mine. Like I said, my entry level base pay was $90,000. My OTE or commission brought me out to starting out at my base pay was $72,000. My OTE was $90,000. Someone who is in tech sales starting out, their base pay might have been like something like $60,000. So less than my base pay, but when they're hitting their on target earnings, they would end up getting like $100,000 or $105,000. So their base pay is usually less than a sales engineer person, but their commission is significantly more. And so, yeah, I guess that's a quick way of explaining it. I might have 1 to 2 video calls with a customer as a sales engineer. Someone who's in tech sales, they might have 2 to the maximum 4 video calls with the customer or the client. So hopefully that answers that question. Next question I see on here, any specific let me drink some water. Any specific tech positions that you feel have more longevity? All of them. All tech roles have longevity, and what I mean by that, so I'm assuming by your question you mean like these careers aren't going anywhere. I think, and this is a theory of mine, I theorize that manual QA eventually will be removed in the next maybe 5 to 10 years. It'll be removed because our tech is becoming so smart that we almost don't need a person to test out the tech to verify that it works. We can actually have technology test itself and verify that everything works. Outside of that, every tech role has longevity. Now, the other part of that question could be, which tech role has longevity, meaning like your pay will keep going up, 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 up. So for instance, someone like myself who's a sales engineer, most sales engineers right now make about 100, and depending on how long they've been a sales engineer, most sales engineers, if they're a sales engineer for 5 years, they might be making close to $250,000. Or 10 years, they could be making anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000 as a sales engineer. But someone who's in tech sales, they might be making something like, again, it's easier to get a tech sales job, but in 5 years, a tech salesperson is probably not going to be making $250,000. That's like almost out of the question. In 5 years, they might be making around $170,000, $180,000. In 10 years, they could be making between $200,000 to $270,000, $280,000, depending on how they network in the industry and the company they work at. So, depending on the role you do in tech, so like if someone's a coder or they're a developer, they're a full stack developer. Like I mentioned, as a sales engineer, after 10 years, I'm probably going to be making somewhere between $300,000 to $500,000, depending on how well I network. I got to do a lot of amazing networking. I have to be in an incredibly rich company to get paid $500,000. But it's very possible, not out of the realm of possibility. But someone who's a developer, they're a full stack developer, and they've networked, they've killed the game, they doing their stuff properly. In 10 years, they could be making anywhere between $300,000 to $600,000. They could be making significantly more, and then some. They could be making $1 million annual salary, like I shared before on a post, where a lot of crypto companies are paying some of their developers up to $900,000 a year just to be a developer. Crazy. And of course, if we account for inflation, the money's only going to go up because tech positions outpace inflation. Like most jobs, most traditional jobs only give you like a $2 to $4 raise every year. Whereas tech companies, the average raise you get at a tech company is between $25,000 and $40,000 a year in tech. So you far outpace inflation when you're in tech. So there's a lot of longevity in tech. All right, so next question, JP_Risa. How long is the internship with Course Careers, and can you work full-time while taking the course? So the internship with Course Careers is I'm on their site now. So their internship is 3 to 4 months with the average pay of $15 an hour. And the internship is let me look at the schedule. My bad, I'm on their site now. Their internship is a 8 to 5. So it's like a job, but it's an internship. It's 8 to 5, so technically you could work another job depending on your own work ethic. So I guess this is another thing to highlight. So Course Careers is a lot cheaper, but it requires a lot more of your time than something like Careerist would. And of course, they pay you for your time though, but it's only $15 an hour. Now, most people only make between about $35,000 to $45,000 a year. That's an average across the entire U.S., men and women. So $15 an hour comes out to $30,000 a year. So I don't know. It depends on the individual. For me, if I had found out about Course Careers before Careerist and I did this would have worked out well for me because knowing myself, I would have did this during the day and then I would have Lyft drove for about 4 or 5 hours to made an extra $150 every day. There are ways to make this work, but again, that takes up a lot more time than something like Career. So it's basically 8 to 5 for their internship, where they're paying you while they're setting you up to get a job at a tech company. All right, so I'm jumping back into the question box. See some new questions just popped up. Is this the same question? Oh, yeah. Someone asked. Oh, yeah. That's the same question. I know some new questions just popped up in here, but these are not organized. I'm trying to find one of the newer questions. What does sales engineer do? All right, so you said, what is the mental work needed in sales engineering and tech sales? What makes it hard? So what makes tech sales hard is that your commission makes up about, I think in tech sales, the commission makes up about 30 to 50% of your salary. So again, if someone's getting paid, if their base in tech sales is 60,000, their OTE could be about $110,000, $120,000. So their starting could be technically more than mine, but their base pay will be less. So what makes it hard for them is that they rely a lot more on the sales than I do. And I know that whenever I demo a product, after the demo, the tech sales people that I work with, they care a lot more about the sale closing. They're not stressing, but you could tell they really, really, really want that commission. I want the commission, but I really don't care. Like, I care because it's more money, but I'm not tripping because either way, my base pay is significantly high. But what makes it hard for me as a sales engineer is that as a sales engineer, it's hard for me because it's my job to know all the answers to all the technical questions. So that means I have to constantly be studying and learning more about my company's software. As my company is buying more technology, because that's what companies do, they buy other companies up. I have to now learn that new technology of that new company. So I'm constantly in school. So even when I'm done working in the day, I usually feel compelled to do more research, to learn more. Now, of course, I'm incentivized with money, but I feel like there's less responsibility on me to get paid what I get paid. I'm just going to get paid what I get paid. But there's more knowledge responsibility on me. So mentally, when I'm on a call with a customer, it's a little more mentally taxing because there's a high risk that a customer will ask me a lot of technical questions. They'll ask questions sometimes where I'll really have to think hard about my company's technology and what we can and can't do, or if we can find a workaround. So it requires a lot of mental thinking. I have to be, it requires a lot of thinking while on calls for myself. It's fun, but it also can be mentally taxing. Whereas a sales rep or someone in tech sales, the calls for them are a lot easier. The questions they get are not hard questions, but they want the sale to close more than I do because they get paid more. I'm going to bring a tech sales person on here sometime soon. I'll actually bring someone on that works in my company, and we can talk through it, and they can answer more tech sales questions. But good question. Moving on to the next question. All right, so what's the difference between the $3,000 boot camp job you're promoting versus the new one you're promoting? So I answered this at the beginning of the live. I'll answer this again, and I don't want that to sound rude. But if there's something I missed in what I'm about to answer, you can rewatch the live and watch the beginning part of it. Now, I'm not going to keep this live up longer than 24 hours, so you would need to watch it within a short time frame. So anyway, to answer your question, what's the difference between the $3,000 boot camp, which is Careerist? Basically, what's the difference between Careerist, which is about $3,500, versus Course Careers, which is only $499. Course Careers only teaches tech sales. So it's only one role that you'd be able to get in tech with them. So first I'll say what's similar. So both Course Careers and Careerist, they're tech boot camps. Both of them help you get a job in tech. Both of them guarantee you a job in tech. Both of them refund you if they can't get you a job in tech. What's different is that Course Careers is significantly cheaper, but Course Careers will take longer because they're a boot camp and an internship. So you have to do their boot camp and their internship. And then, so with Course Careers, it could take you 3 to 4 or 5 months to get a job in tech, but they're paying you. They pay you $15 an hour during the internship, and it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Careerist could be shorter depending on how well you're interviewing, depending on how on top of your interviews you are after you do their boot camps. Most of their boot camp programs are 4 weeks, Again, they cost a lot. They cost more, 3,500. It's not a lot of money, but that's a lot of money for some people. Their boot camps are only 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they're in the evenings. Depending on your time zone, they go off of Cali time. So Cali time or West Coast time, they're 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm in Georgia, so for me, it was always they're 6 p.m. Cali time to 8 p.m. because in Georgia, here in Atlanta, when I was doing it because it's virtual, it was 8 p.m. to 10:30 for me, my time. So they cost more. So careerists cost more, and you have a probability of getting a higher paying job in tech sooner. Course careers cost less, and they pay you, but it will take you a little longer to get a job in tech. And their internship is like, it's a real internship. It's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with like breaks and stuff in between. So hopefully that answers the question as to the difference between careerist and course careers. But I have discount links in my bio for both. With course careers, you can use my promo code. With careerists, all you have to do is use the link in my bio. Click on that, and automatically the discount is connected to that link where you get $50 off with careerist. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, so I'm going to have to pivot because the question box, Instagram is putting the questions in weird orders. So now I'm going to answer questions in the chat, like literally in the comment section. So if I haven't answered your question, posted in the chat, I'll continue to answer questions until for another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to have to hop off. So if I haven't answered your question yet, post it down here in the comment section of the chat. I'm going to sip on my drink while I wait for people to post other questions here in the chat box. Let's pretend that elevator music is playing. All right, cool. Do I need a tech background to become a Scrum Master, or will bootcamp class suffice? A bootcamp would suffice, but again, it depends on which tech bootcamp. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of any tech bootcamps that teach Scrum Master that I can vouch for. One of my homeboys, y'all actually know him, Dozy. Dozy's doing a tech bootcamp right now to be a Scrum Master. Scrum Master careers pay a lot of money. A lot of money in tech. But I can't vouch for any programs. When he's finished with his program, I'll bring him on, and maybe he can talk about the program if he thinks it's a great program. But a tech bootcamp, a good one, if it's like the tech bootcamps that I've done or that I recommended, none of the tech bootcamps I recommended teach Scrum Master. But if it's like any of the ones that I've done, they give you experience during the boot camp. So you get some light experience during the boot camp. That's what tech boot camps are. So it's not, the reason why they call it a boot camp and not a, I guess, course, they call them boot camps, is because it's just like I'm a Marine. I served in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps boot camp, you're not just being educated on how to shoot a gun. You actually shoot different assault rifles and weapons. You're not just educated on hand-to-hand combat with knives and various melee weapons. You are actually trained in that combat with those melee weapons. So you're not just educated when it comes to warfare. You actually get tested. So that's the difference between a boot camp and education. College just gives you a bunch of head knowledge, very little practical application. Whereas with boot camps, it's much more practical application than just head knowledge. All right, so moving on to the next question. You said, do people serve double roles? Can you be the sales tech and the engineer? So yes, so I am a sales tech. I don't know, when I say sales tech, it makes me think of nail tech. I am a sales tech because a sales engineer is a technical salesperson. The titles can get really confusing. Even me being in tech, it doesn't matter how long you've been in tech. These titles can overlap and can get confusing. But can you do double roles? Yeah, it depends on the company. So there are companies that have hit me up trying to hire me on where basically my job would be both a sales engineer job and a sales architect job, which sales architects get paid more than sales engineers, generally speaking. So a sales engineer, an entry-level sales engineer person might get something like 100,000, 110,000. A sales architect might get start off salary 125, 130,000. But they work with literally as soon as a customer signs a deal, I never see that customer again. I never talk to that customer. My job is to demo the product, and I might never talk to the customer again. The sales architect helps the customer with setting up our software to work with their software. They continue working with the customer for maybe the next 2 weeks to the next month. But there are some companies that'll hire you. They'll say they're hiring you to be a sales engineer, but you will literally be the sales engineer and the sales architect. Now, usually you'll get paid a lot more. So starting salary, even for an entry-level role, for companies that are doing it like that, they usually will add the salaries together, kind of combine it, and your starting salary might be 140, 150,000. But sometimes companies try to be slick, and they try to hire people that might be ignorant, and they might try to start you off at like $100,000, but they're having you do both roles. That's some little scam stuff some companies are trying to get over on people with. But yeah, you can do dual roles, but usually they're roles that already kind of overlap with the sales process or the job process. All right, you said, is my company currently hiring? Yes, my company is currently hiring. Most tech companies are always hiring. They just are, because most tech companies, they make so much money. In order for them to make more money, one of the ways for them to make more money is to hire more people. Just straight up. So my company is always hiring. I don't care what tech company it is. Apple is always hiring. Google's always hiring. I could name other tech companies that y'all would be unfamiliar with, but it wouldn't really matter to y'all. But tech companies are usually always hiring. And when they're not hiring, usually give it about 2-3 months, they're going to be hiring for that role again and bringing on more people, whether because some people left or because the role is just opening up more capacity and space. But yes, my company is hiring for dang near every role, for sales engineers, for a lot of tech sales. My company hires a lot of tech sales people. So if you're doing tech sales, come and work in my company. My company will pay you well. The benefits are dope. It's great. Again, my company is Dialpad, if you can read backwards. All right, so next question. After careers training, do you also get sufficient training from your company to prepare you to answer questions about their products? Definitely. Look, I love Careers. Help me get my job. Careers ain't teach me nothing about my company's product, because going to a tech boot camp will never teach you about your company's product, because every single tech company has different software. Being a sales engineer, Careers just taught me about the day in the life of a sales engineer. It trained me, it coached me on understanding the mindset of a sales engineer, understanding how to focus on showing the technical components in a way that matters to the customer. That might not even make sense to y'all. But again, you have to do a tech boot camp for it to make sense, because this live is not about teaching you how to be a sales engineer. It's about talking about just answering normal technical questions or about being in tech. So anyway, Careers teaches you whatever role it is, whether it's manual QA. They will teach you how to be a manual QA person, but they will not teach you whatever company's products that you end up getting hired at. It is that company's job to teach you their products. And tech companies know this. They're not, this isn't like a trick. Like when tech companies hire you, they're not going to ask you or when they interview you, they're not going to ask you technical questions about their product, because they're fully aware you don't know their product. Out of all the interviews I did, and I did about 60, 70 interviews. I did a lot of interviews. Some were like short interviews that were just over the phone. Some were like virtual like this. But out of all the interviews I did, not one company asked me any technical questions about their product. because it doesn't matter how much knowledge they want you to have in your role. They know you don't know their software. It's almost like this. So it's one thing to understand the do's and don'ts of dating. Okay, we all know in dating, you shouldn't cheat on the person. You shouldn't put your hands on the person. You shouldn't cuss the person out. You shouldn't ghost the person you're dating. You should compliment them. Everyone knows the gist. But when you actually are getting to know a person, don't disrespect them, don't cheat on them, don't lie to them, stuff like that. But you don't know what their love languages are. It's their job to teach you their love languages. It's their job to tell you about their insecurities and their wounds. No one, and I've dated some women like this where they treat it like a man is just supposed to know how they are as an individual woman. And it's like every woman is not the exact same. There are generalities of dating and romance and relationships. And then when you're actually getting to know a person, there are specific details. It's their job to educate you on those details. Tech companies are the same way. Most roles in tech companies require a 2 to 4 months of training, and they're paying you all the money during this training. So I didn't do any demos until I was at my company for about 2 to 2.5 months. And even the reason why I demoed 2 months in was because I was adamant about doing it, because I was anxious. I was like, I want to demo. And my company was like, slow your roll. You don't have to. Like, you could take more time. You could take another month. And I was like, no, I want to do it. I want to do this. I wanted to prove myself. But so most companies will train you for about 3 months, sometimes 4 months or longer, while paying you those heavy salaries before you even actually have to start performing. And even the performance, they still aren't looking for you to perform at a high level. I'm doing better at my company than they expect me to be doing right now for where I'm at. And so it's really dope in tech. Like, the companies, they're not tripping on you, stressing on you. They're just really chill. Like, for instance, today, I did a very poor job today at my job. Like, I did my demos. I did a great job with my demos. But in my opinion, I didn't do a good job on the back end of doing research, of answering questions for my team members who sent questions to me, technical questions. I did a terrible job. I low-key was halfway ghosting my company today. I was like just kind of really chilling at the crib, doing a little bit of work, very, very whack, lazy stuff that's not cool. And I'm going to do better this week. Nevertheless, nobody in my company hit me up like, yo, Cyrus, what you doing? What's up? And no one's going to hit me up about it. But I'm going to do better tomorrow and do better throughout the rest of the week. It was just a case of the Mondays. All right, so moving to the next question. I got to wrap up. All right, so I'm gonna try to breeze through these next few questions. I'm going to scroll. All right, cool. So I'm going to answer the last question I currently see on here. If you have any other questions, then either one, I would say join my Patreon community where you can come on and ask questions, or you can book some time with me and we can do a one-on-one call, like a 15, 20-minute conversation. I think it's like $10, and we could do like an actual call and talk for like 15, 20 minutes about any questions you have. Other than that, I'm going to answer these last 3 questions I see on here, and then I'm going to bid you all a good night. All right, so the next question I see on here. Thank you for your patience and time, Cyrus. What are your thoughts on being an e-learning developer? E-learning developer. I think that's good. I mean, whatever you want to do in tech, my belief is if you want to be in tech, first off, look at why you want to be in tech. Most people want to be in tech because of the money, which is cool. That's normal. Like, we get paid to do a job. There's nothing wrong with wanting a job because you're getting paid. They want to hire you because you're going to help them make money. You should want to work there because they're going to pay you a lot of money. But if your main reason for wanting to be in tech, and I said this before, is because you want to make money, I would suggest looking at the top 15 roles that pay the most, and then finding which one of those roles, maybe looking at 5 of those roles that you feel you actually want to do for a long time. And then after looking into those roles, look up tech boot camps that do those roles. So there are roles outside of the tech boot camp stuff that Careers teaches or Course Careers teaches. I only talk about what I know and what I'm familiar with. And so there are other roles, like someone mentioned Scrum Master earlier. So being an e-learning developer, what are my thoughts on that? That's dope. If you want to make a lot of money, just make sure that you work at a company that's making a lot of money or working at a company that pays very well. But either way, if you're a developer, you're going to get paid a good salary. You're going to get paid well above the national average. Usually, if you're a developer, you're going to be in the top 10, maybe even the top 3% of earners, depending on how long you're a developer. Dwayne the Director, does tech sales and sales engineering prepare you for other technical fields in technology, or would you have to start from the bottom again in other tech fields? So it depends on, I would say, the company you work at. So some companies train you on how to, on how to do APIs. So what APIs are, so there's two different sides of a system. There's the UI and there's the API. The UI, all of us know the UI. So let's say Instagram. We all know how to change our profile picture on Instagram. We all know how to block people. We know how to comment. We know how to go in our settings and change things in our settings, whether we want our account to be private or public. That's the UI, or the user interface. Think of a face. It's the user interface where you're able to change the look and the flow of the front end of your stuff. Then there are APIs, which I forget, what does API stand for? I always forget what API stands for. API means... So API means application programming interface. So basically API is more of the back end where you can switch some things around, but usually you have to be a developer. People can change things to their Instagram or to their Facebook on a more developer level to a certain degree or threshold. Now, my company doesn't teach me how to do APIs. I understand my company, we talk about APIs. I have to talk about that with customers. Customers will ask us like, hey, if we have a developer, do y'all have open APIs where they can change what Dialpad does to work better for our business? And our answer is usually yes. But I don't actually know how to do APIs. But there are some companies where if I get hired as a sales engineer there, they will teach me how to operate APIs and make adjustments with APIs. There are other sales engineer roles where they require you to know how to code. Depending on whether or not they hire you at an entry level, they might teach you some coding. But to take it a step further, most tech companies offer a education stipend, basically where they will give you money to do other courses, so you can, whatever courses you want to do to further educate yourself and leverage your skill set, whether you want to get another role or a higher paying role at the company you're working at, or a completely separate company. Some companies teach you other things. Other tech companies will give you money or pay stipends to get further education for other roles. All right, and all right, so last two questions I think that are in here. Or no, there are other questions in here, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stop at the last question that I saw before other people start sending in questions. So the next question is, how many hours a day do you work? How many hours a week? All right, so I'm actually gonna show y'all my calendar so y'all can see. All right, so I'm gonna turn my screen around. You got games on your phone? Look like them little kids. You got games on your phone, or an old person trying to look at something on the screen. All right, let me stop playing. Let me turn my screen around. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right, boom. So this is my calendar. This is my schedule today. If y'all can see it, where my mouse at? There it is. So this is my schedule today. As y'all can see, I didn't start working today until 11 a.m. Now, I started working a little earlier because I wanted to do some personal prep stuff for my day. Maybe check emails, talk to people on my team. So like this is my company's software, for example. So literally I can chat with my team. This is my company. We chat using my company software. So I can talk to my team. This is Tara. I could chat with these guys. This is a group chat we got with 3 of us. Someone actually asked me to jump on a demo. He said, hey guys, sorry for hitting you up after hours, because it was after hours. He hit me up at basically 7 p.m. Sorry for hitting you up after hours. I have a demo tomorrow that wants to move very quickly, wants to see Salesforce Power Dialer. Can any of you do 9 a.m. tomorrow? So notice, I hope you notice that they asked me if I'm willing to do a 9 a.m. demo. I want you to see my answer. My answer to him was, I would be able to do something even as early as 7 a.m. And I'm down to do that. That's me personally. I would do something even as early as 7 a.m., but I have something on my calendar for 9 a.m. tomorrow already. And showing you my calendar, you see that. So we're looking back at my calendar. You see tomorrow. So again, today I didn't work until 11 a.m. Tomorrow, I actually start work at 9:15 a.m. And it's one thing. Now notice, look how long this break is. So I have a break. Let me make it closer. I currently have a break tomorrow from 9:45 a.m. This says busy, but this is actually my lunch. I just don't put lunch. So I have a break tomorrow from 9:45 all the way until, what time is this? 1:30. All the way until this is another demo, a 1:30 demo. Dang, they put that on top of something else that I had going on tomorrow. That actually freaking sucks. So I'm gonna have to change it around. Anyway, so all the way from that's a very long break. Now, mind you, tomorrow morning, somebody could throw something. They could be like, ooh, Cyrus got all this free time. I need him to do a demo. They could throw this on my calendar. I can choose. Now, listen, this is about to blow a lot of y'all's minds. Someone could throw something on my calendar during that long break I have. I can choose to tell them, yo, I'm not doing that, because that's too last minute. Because usually the rule of thumb is I tell people, yo, I need a demo on my calendar at least 24 hours ahead of time to give me some time to prepare for it if there are any tough technical questions. So I can reject demos just like I rejected the demo I just showed y'all. And no one's going to hit me up and say anything. Just like the dude apologized for hitting me up after hours. And he was like, yo, can you do this demo? I could say yes. I could say no. If I only want to do 3 demos a day, I could do that. If I want to do 6 demos a day and kill myself, I can do that. That's completely up to me. But going back to my calendar. So you see I have this long break. So my day starts earlier tomorrow. Today I didn't start until 11. Tomorrow I start at 9:15, but then I have a crazy long break as long as no one throws anything on my calendar. Let me get the phone a little closer. I'm gonna stop making it move. So all my days end at 5 p.m. Now, if I want my days to go until 6, I can do that. If I want them to go until 7, I can do that, but I don't want to do that. My days end at, what did I just click on? Okay, let me go back, my bad. All right, so here we go. So tomorrow I'm done basically at 4 o'clock. So if you calculate all this time, tomorrow, how long is this? This is a 30 minutes. So this one is 30 minutes. Again, this is my break. This is 1 hour. This is 1 hour. So literally that's 2 hours and 30 minutes of work tomorrow that I'm scheduled to do. Crazy. Only 2 hours and 30 minutes of work for a 6-figure salary. Now, mind you, that wasn't the case today. Even though today I started later, today I worked more. That's 1 hour. This was a meeting, a weekly sales meeting, but I was on that 2 hours, 3 hours. This was 30 minutes, 3 hours and a half. This was 1 hour. So I worked 4.5 hours today in total. So you see my schedule. So showing you how the schedule can literally fluctuate day by day. Now, again, these are things I haven't accepted. I mean, y'all know how Google Calendar works. I haven't accepted some of these yet. I'm most likely going to accept these. See I have like a long, nothing's on my calendar right here. So I hope this is making sense for some of y'all, just showing how, oh God, just answering that question, how many hours a week do I work? So mind you, I could have a day, don't get it twisted. This looks super beautiful, super good, and it's like this most weeks. There are some days where it's back to back to back to back. Literally 9 a.m. until 4:30, where I'm in demo, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a training, I'm in a lot of stuff. So there are some days where it's, there have been days where I'm like, bro, I'm kicking my feet up, I'm eating some food, I'm sipping some coffee. I'm taking long breaks where I'll be watching something on my TV, watching movies and shows. I'll jump in the car and go to the mall, all of that. And I'm chilling, whatever, relaxing. I'm like, oh, I ain't got a demo for 2 hours. And then there are other days where it's like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So it's up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's a lot of fun. It keeps it like every day is different. You don't know what kind of customer. I'll do demos for customers that are doctors' offices. I do demos for mega church pastors. I do demos for car companies, for government companies, all different types of stuff. It's very interesting. Always a different dynamic of people and customers I'm talking to. And it's always super chill. Anyway, I'm going too far in on this point, but I hope y'all get the gist of what the schedules can be like. So anyway, going to the last question that I'm going to answer on here, then I'm going to tell y'all good night. You said, out of the manual QA or sales engineering roles, which is more interesting in the job work? I can't answer that because I'm not a manual QA person. I think a lot of people like being a sales engineer, like people who've done multiple roles that have also done sales engineer. With my Patreon community, we had a meeting, a virtual private meeting last Thursday, and my guest that I had on, he's a senior level in tech space. He's both a developer, he's done product management, and he's done sales engineering. And he said nothing's been more fun for him than sales engineering, but that's just him. Someone else would say manual QA is more interesting. But manual QA is interesting. Sales engineering is interesting. It's more so about which one you would prefer, and it's more so about which company you get hired at and what their product is and if you enjoy the product. Now, of course, don't be nitpicky with the first company you get hired at. I don't care if it's a trash company that benefits are mediocre. If they're paying well, the biggest thing is to get your foot in the door. Because like I've said before, once you're in tech, you're good. You're in tech. Now, once you're at that company for 6-7 months, a year, you can now work at most other tech companies and you can switch and jump different companies and get higher pay. All right. So, I see other questions in here, but I have to wrap up now. I'm going to have to bid y'all adieu. Hope y'all have a great night. Now, last couple things I'm going to say about the Tech Bootcamp. So one, I want to say this thing. I want to make this comment. It is very important for minorities, for people of color, for women to be in tech. One, yes, the salary is good. The benefits are great. The work-life balance, like even y'all see with my schedule, is pretty decent. But going beyond that, it's important because when technology is being created, when AI is being created, like the post I put on my page earlier today, when these things are being created, if people of color are not creating the technology or are not a part of creating the technology itself can be racist. Technology itself can be biased, but depending on who writes the code and who programs it. So it's important for believers, even as believers, us being in the tech space, because again, God has called us to, God told us in the garden, he told Adam, and of course by default also Eve, he told us to rule over the earth, to subdue it. That's not just the crops in the land, that's also what we do with the produce of the earth. And that also is technology. So if we allow non-believers, people who don't have morals, not saying every non-believer doesn't have morals, but if we allow non-believers, if we allow people who don't have morals, if we allow people who are not looking out for the best interests of our communities or the goodness of our planet and of people, then we are leaving the future in the hands of the godless. So whenever we see technology and AI doing this crazy futuristic stuff, it's bad if we're uneducated about it, but it's even worse when we don't have any hand in it at all, because now we're at the mercy of people who don't look like us. We're at the mercy of people who don't love like us, people who don't care about God. We're at their mercy. And so that's why it's very important for people of color, beyond the salary, beyond the benefits, beyond being able to work remote, work at home. All of those things are great, but it's like, yo, our future generations, the future of this world is being left in the hands of people who don't love God or don't look like us. So it is important for us to take charge and step up into those fields. So understand that getting into tech is all of the things I talk about, but I also want to bring the ministry aspect into it as well. And let it be known that this isn't just about work. This isn't just about a job. This is about you having your hand in the future of the world. So that way the future of the world is not being controlled by the enemy or about people who just want to make money, but they're creating technology that will end up harming a lot of people. But when we're in tech, we can continue subduing the earth. We can continue making sure that technology isn't going in a direction to where it's doing some nefarious things that can hurt people, or it'll go in a direction where it'll dishonor God. But that's on us to make a decision to do. So again, I suggested the 2 tech boot camps that I usually talk about, that I've been talking about, Careerist and Course Careers. I was talking about Pre-Hired, but I stopped talking about them. I'm going to be very, 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 very transparent with y'all. When it comes to the referral kickback that I get, or the money that I get whenever I send people in as a referral, Pre-Hired gives the biggest referral kickback. Like, I almost want to tell y'all like how big the referral kickback is. It is humongous. It's way bigger than Careers, way bigger than Course Careers, their referral thing. But the reason why I'm telling people about Course Careers now and no longer Pre-Hired is because it's a better deal. It's a lot better deal. It's $499, whereas Pre-Hired, yeah, it's free up front, but for about 3 or 4 years, they get a piece of all of your paychecks, and it ends up costing the same amount as college. It ends up costing, well, less than college, but it ends up costing between $20,000 and $30,000 over the next few years. So when I found out about Course Careers, that's why I'm talking about them now, because it's a much better deal to still get a tech sales position. Yeah, my referral fee is way, way, way less talking about them than talking about Pre-Hired. So just to give an example, most people who do a referral with Pre-Hired get $1,000 referral fee. They get $1,000 for every person they refer. That's most people. But me, as an influencer with a larger following, I would get significantly more than $1,000. But I'm not talking about them anymore. Course Careers, for example, their referral thing is something like $150 or $200. It's not a lot of money compared to Pre-Hired, but it's a much better deal for everybody else. And that's why I'm telling y'all about it, because yeah, I like the referral fee, the referral kickback, all of that. I love people can get discounts using my links, but also I want to be honest and tell people the best offers and best deals that are out there. And I'll try to continue doing that as well, and continue being transparent and open with everybody. But that being said, look into Course Careers, Careerists. Use my link if you want a discount for either or. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed and beautiful night.